The leaked draft opinion from the Supreme Court that suggests that the justices may soon overturn Roe v. Wade has made abortion one of the biggest political debates of the year. Just today, the Oklahoma State Legislature passed a near total ban on abortion. Our latest PBS NewsHour NPR Marist poll sheds new light on Americans' views on the subject, and Lisa Desjardins is here to walk through some of the numbers. So, Lisa, hello. You've been taking a hard look at this poll and what it shows. So the court does seem poised, maybe, to overturn Roe. Where are Americans on this?
Judy, there is so much to talk about in this poll. I think something our viewers are going to be talking about themselves as well. Let's start with a big headline. Americans overall do not support overturning Roe versus Wade. Our figures show in this poll 33% of Americans only would support overturning. 64%, two-thirds nearly, say no, do not overturn it. And I want to note that is a slight increase in those who want to overturn Roe from 4 years ago, but not a significant one. Really, this nation is divided, two-thirds who want to keep Roe and one-third who say overturn it.
Now, Lisa, you reported last night, many Americans are in the middle, though, on abortion restrictions. So tell us more about that part.
These were figures I was very interested to see. Where are Americans now exactly? What do they want abortion policy to look at? Let's take a look at when you talk about what time in pregnancy abortion should be allowed in. In general, about a quarter of Americans believe it should be allowed always in every part of pregnancy. Leave it up to the woman, the family involved. About another third or so say somewhere between 3 or 6 months is where there should be a limit, a ban. Another third says therefore specific exceptions only. Now, specifically, we said in this poll, that means rape, incest, life of the mother. There is 9%, the smallest group here, who says never. Abortion should not be allowed, no exceptions whatsoever. So if you look at this, you see that clearly the middle there is somewhere around 3-6 months. And that was reinforced by what we found in Pennsylvania. I want to bring back another soundbite from that woman we talked to, Denise Donlin, who we met on her front porch.
Abortion is not birth control. And I think people are fine with abortion. And I do believe it's the right of women to choose for their own body, but I think there should be limitations. 15, 20 weeks.
And that's what our poll shows, too, that a lot of Americans are where she is.
So, Lisa, we know that if the court moves in the direction it looks like they may be, decisions are going to turn back to the states. What are you seeing about what the states are looking at doing?
It's interesting. Americans agree on some things that they oppose, that they say go too far. Let's look at that. These are ideas that we see in the states that Americans do not like. First of all, the idea of criminalizing this with doctors, fines, or jail time for doctors, 75% say no. The ability to have civil lawsuits against abortion doctors, 80% say no. The idea of a ban after 6 or 8 weeks, 69% say no. These are ideas Americans in our survey say go too far. Where the gray area is so interesting. We also found that in our poll, and I want to show it right now. The gray area is here on a ban after 15 weeks, exactly what Denise Donlin was talking about. The nation is almost purely divided on whether that is a good idea or a bad idea. Also, divide almost down the middle over the idea of whether it should be legal to mail abortion drugs to people at their home. That was a divide that also stood out in our poll.
It does raise a lot of questions about how people are coming to these conclusions, doesn't it?
That's right. And it shows it's a gray area. People are not sure. And in fact, in this poll, we saw some conflicts within these results that were raised questions.
Yeah, it reminds us what a tough issue it is. And finally, Lisa, in the poll, people were asked questions about their view of the Supreme Court and of the Congress.
This is something that we have seen change dramatically. And I want to look at this question of, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court? A simple question. Here's what our survey told us from people that we talked to. Right now, the top answer, 40% only said they have confidence. A majority, 56%, said no. That is almost a perfect flip, Judy, from 4 years ago, July of 2018, when a majority, 57%, said they do have confidence in the Supreme Court. 38% said they do not. So we're really seeing, I think, in this, the battles over Supreme Court nominations and, of course, this leaked opinion. What does this all mean for the midterms? The stakes are so high this year. Control of the Senate, control of the House, on the table. Democrats have had an enthusiasm problem. We've reported on that in our polls before. We asked, Are you more likely to vote because of the leaked opinion? Here's what we got in our survey. Democrats, 66% said yes. Republicans, just 40%. Independents, 46%. That Democratic number is something they are going to pay a lot of attention to. And this is before the actual opinion, of course, has come out, before we know for sure what the Supreme Court is doing. But this is something that may charge up Democrats who've had a president with low approval ratings and have not been able to find that enthusiasm elsewhere.
It certainly looks that way.
That's right.
And of course, we'll see when that opinion does finally come out.
I think just weeks away.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lisa Desjardins, thank you very much. And a reminder that you can dig into these poll results and more on our website. That's pbs.org/newshour.